near and far. We're always together. Welcome, one and all, to our Sunday gathering. It's actually Sunday gathering number 291. Crazy. We came along together years ago, my friends and I, to create something we thought would be short term to add a little enthusiasm, inspiration, and joy during a tough time back in 2020. And little did we know it would become a worldwide sensation. So, whatever brought you here, we thank you. I'm Sandra. I'm joined today by my friends, Dominic and Darren. And anytime we're together, we call ourselves the Three Amigos. It's just kind of fun. And I don't know, we get a little silly, but not only do we wish to share some joy with you, but it's empowering you to live a good life while you're here on earth and with that great reality that we live on after physical death, that our loved ones are still around, they're part of our lives, and we will see them again. So I've said enough. Darren has designed our service for today. He's picked all our music. I'm going to send it over to him for some introductions, but welcome everyone.
Thank you, Sandra, and a massive welcome to each and every one of you. Yes, it's the Three Amigos back again. And as Sandra said, we can be silly. But you know what? Life is too serious not to be silly. It brings a smile to our faces and hopefully it will to yours as well. So be as silly as you like. It's the best form of medicine, I think. But welcome to our Sunday gathering. And today's theme was kind of inspired by Sandra. And we've titled it The Gentle Touch from Spirit. You know, we've all been brought together here today through some form of grief. We all have someone in the unseen world that we've grieved for, or possibly still grieve for. And how many of us go through those moments? Are they really there? How do I feel them? How do I sense them? How do I know they truly are there? Well, hopefully we can discover that as we go through today's Sunday gathering. I'll be doing the opening prayer as well as part of the address. You have Mrs. Sandra, the hostess with the mostess, who will be doing all the behind the scenes work to make it all flow seamlessly with all the music and introductions and everything. And Sandra will also be doing our reading for today and our healing for today. And then you have the wonderful Mr. Dominic Bogue from Switzerland today. He'll be doing our demonstration of mediumship. He'll also be doing part of the address and the closing prayer. And then all three of us will be taking part in the closing words for today, all putting our little bit in. So we hope you guys all enjoy. So let's start off today's Sunday gathering with our opening prayer, if you'd all like to join us in prayer. We come together here today as friends, brothers and sisters from across our world, coming together today with the same goal and intent within our hearts and our minds to truly bring the two worlds together as one. And as we come here together today for this short, brief moment, we cast aside our own daily lives, our own problems, our own wants, and our own desires, so that we can come together here today as one in a positive frame of mind, and each and every one of us can play our part in whichever way we can to truly unite the two worlds together as one under that banner of We Don't Die. And in coming together here today, we do so with an open heart and an open mind, allowing our friends, helpers, and loved ones from that world we call unseen express their thoughts, words, and wisdom through the minds of our workers here today, allowing us all once again to absorb that healing balm, those words of joy to bring us those moments of healing and upliftment once again. And as we come together here today, we come together in a knowing and understanding that each and every one of us comes here together as an equal and will be treated as so. As we know, language, country of residence, beliefs and backgrounds holds no barriers or distractions to those in the unseen world, as each and every one of us joins here together today in the universal language of love, which will allow each and every one of us once again to be immersed in that unconditional love and that healing balm of the unseen world, so that we can all experience that joy together as one. And we'd like to thank all those in the unseen world for allowing this Sunday gathering to take place and allowing each and every one of us once again to walk hand in hand, side by side, with those in the unseen world to make a positive change to all of mankind. So as we enter into this Sunday gathering, we do so as always with positivity within our minds, love within our hearts, and smiles upon our faces, so that we truly can create that perfect meeting ground in which we can bring the two worlds together as one. And as always, we ask that that healing torch continues to shine to all four corners of our world to bring those moments of joy, love, and happiness to all those hearts and minds that may be in need on this day. So, without further ado, my friends, we welcome you here today. Amen.
Thank you so much, Darren. My reading for today is a true story. I call it The Skeptic and the Kitchen Table. Our theme today deals with connection and the beautiful, reassuring truth that we are never, ever alone. But how do we know that? In the deepest, darkest moments of our grief, when our hearts are broken, how do we find ourselves with that special connection? I want to share with you a powerful true story today. It's the story of Dr. Matthew McKay. And this isn't just a story about faith, it's a story about evidence found by a man who was trained to be a skeptic. Dr. Matthew McKay was a professor of psychology, a man of science and logic. He wrote books on anxiety and depression, but nothing in his training could have prepared him for the single worst tragedy a parent could face. His 23-year-old son, Jordan, was murdered. In that moment, his entire world collapsed. As a grieving father, he was consumed by two agonizing questions. Does my son still exist? And is he okay? His answers, his search for answers began, as it does for many, and many with mediums. And although he did find some comfort in a sense that Jordan might still be there, he said it didn't truly warm his heart. He was still just a passive listener. It wasn't the connection he ached for with his son. He needed to talk to Jordan himself. So this man of science did something extraordinary. He began to learn. He researched every method of after death communication he could find. He learned from hypnotists and channelers, all battling his own inner self doubt. He said, I hate deception. I guess I'll have to live with the doubt. But his love for his son was greater than his fear of being wrong. He learned a simple method of channeled writing that some call automatic writing. And one night he went home, sat down, and tried it. He had his very first conversation with Jordan. It was a true two-way conversation. He could ask questions, and Jordan would answer. In his own words, it felt like we had gone back to those beautiful days around the kitchen table where we could talk about anything. In that moment, his grief was transformed. He said, I've lost his physical presence, but the relationship and the love is still completely there, completely intact, and completely alive. Dr. McKay's story is a profound lesson for every one of us. It shows that our love is stronger than death, that the relationship does not end. He didn't just find peace, he found a method. And on a podcast interview with me, he shared it so that we too can pass through our own doubt and find our own kitchen table conversations. His steps are a gift for all of us. He teaches: one, find your quiet, sacred space where you feel safe. Two, hold an object that belonged to your loved one. For Dr. McKay, it was a funny, fake business card his son had made him in high school. Three, focus your mind. Dr. McKay uses a candle, but you can close your eyes and breathe, letting go of the day's worries. Four, visualize the connection. He sees a tube of light opening from the top of his head, connecting him to his son. Five, write your question. This is the key, he says. Physically write down your question in a notebook. Six, wait and write what you get. The answer, he says, will just show up in your mind. But don't judge it. Don't analyze it. Just write it as it comes. 7, send your love. He reminds us that our loved ones continue to want our love just as we need theirs. And in the beginning, it may feel that it is more you than your loved one, but maybe not. In time, it gives you both practice to communicate this way. Dr. McKay, the skeptic and the professor, says he still has his moments of doubts, but he pushes through them because the love is worth it. His son Jordan gave him a message for all of us, and I want to share these words with you. Remember, you will be received, you will be cared for, and you will be loved. When you die, the dark door will open and the light of love will take you, so you don't have to be afraid. Thank you for listening to my reading. Next, we're going into our healing segment, and I know we have some special new friends today on our Sunday gathering. This is an opportunity to just selflessly offer ourselves in that healing for the spirit world to use our human energy and direct it to where it's needed. If you have a special prayer or a special intent that you may be used to serve for healing, you can offer it for sure. I know there's many people, places, pets. There's a lot going on in the world that can need our healing. Darren has picked a lovely song. It's not a video, it's just the music. So if you feel comfortable closing your eyes and just let the lyrics and the music wash over you, and like I said, with just that loving intent that our human energy gets used wherever it's needed for healing. When the song ends, the next voice you'll hear is from our amigo Dominic, followed by Darren for our address. So I'll play that song for you now.
Wow, what a beautiful song. What a beautiful words actually. The lyrics very touching. So well done there, Darren. That's a good song. Be interesting to see where you found that from. That's a different conversation. But yes, today's theme, it's a theme that sparks many questions, I guess you could say, many curiosities and many debates, many conversations. And when the three of us were putting together the theme for today, this came up in conversation. I think it's very apt right now. I think it's a very good topic to be discussing and to be present about is that gentle touch of spirit. And as Sandra says, we've all been connected through grief. We've all came together because we have unfortunately lost someone or some people that are very special to us. And through grief, there's always that longing to feel them. There's always that longing to want to still have that table conversation or that moment of how did your day go? How are you? And especially coming up for holidays and heading towards the latter part of the year when we have Christmas and New Year coming up, that's one of the most challenges parts of the years as they come because it's when we miss our loved ones just that little bit more. And a lot of people, especially as a medium, that's a question I get asked a lot is how can I feel my loved ones more? How can I communicate with them? How is it easy for you as a medium, but difficult for me? And that's a painful thing to be asked as a medium because there is no right answer that I can truly share with people. But I always like to be honest and I always like to be, yes, honest, but also optimistic. And I always say to people, as a medium, please do not be under the illusion that I have the golden telephone to contact my people in the spirit world a lot easier than what it is for you. I always say to them, it's actually easier for me as a medium to communicate with your loved ones than it is for me. And why? Well, Sandra said it when she was telling us about the professor. That one word, doubt. Because If I meet someone for the very first time as a stranger, then the information that I'm receiving, I have now in a place of my mediumship and my profession, I trust it's coming from them. And I will share with you one of my techniques so that maybe you can then start to put it into practice. But it's easier for me to communicate with other people's loved ones because, well, I don't really then have a doubt, do I? For example, if I'm wanting to maybe connect with my father and, you know, I may hear the name John or I may feel the name John, well, I'm going to doubt that because, well, it's my dad's name. I know it's my dad's name. Is it what I know? Is it just what I want to feel? So then damn it, didn't really work, did it? Whereas if I meet someone for the very first time and I become aware of the name John and they relate to it, then I know it's coming from the spirit. It's not coming from my imagination or my wanting. And that kind of sucks, doesn't it? It really sucks for me not being able to dial it up and say, "Hey, Dad, are you still there? Like, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about this house that I've just bought? Do you like it?" And I wish I could, but I don't. But here is the thing. Through my life as a medium, I have went to a place of questioning, is there life after death? And questioning, is it possible to communicate with the other world? To actually knowing that there's life after death and knowing that we can communicate with the other world. And I spent some time just trying to do my own gentle research of trying to see if there's other ways that maybe I could have influences from my people in the spirit world without me actually trying. Sounds a little bit strange, doesn't it? But something that I did many, many years ago when I first started to develop my mediumship is I had written a letter to my father. I had written a letter to him because I found it easier to write rather than to maybe sit in the silence or sit and meditate. Because I'm sure, like many of you, I have a brain that's like a little monkey. It's always jumping around, and it's hard for me to stay focused, believe it or not. So it was easier for me to write it. But what I started to realize when I was writing my letter to my dad, my words and my feelings started to move. And they started to move, and it took me to a place that I didn't intentionally set out to go. So I then started to believe that that was me perhaps becoming a little bit more aware of my father in the spirit world, coming closer to me. And this is something that I get lots of my students to do is let's take a moment and allow our soul to write a letter to those in the spirit world that maybe we miss. And I would encourage you to do that. But I would encourage you to do it in a way of, I guess we could say, testing the spirit world and also proving to yourself. Because I know you all, I know each and every one of you sit there with doubt. When you ask for signs, well, did that feather really come from my loved one? Or is it because the cat has killed another bird in the yard? So you doubt it. And when you doubt it, then you move away from believing it, and then you move away from the possibilities. So when you write, what I would encourage you to do is leave some questions. Send your love and write your love. Like, again, the Professor McKay says, include your love. Love is certainly the key, but also setting the intention. So write your letter and maybe put some questions in it and fold it up. Maybe put it in your bedside drawer or put it in your pocketbook or your handbag and carry it with you. And before you know it, you probably will have forgotten your letter, but then you may begin to become aware of the answers ever so naturally. But I says to you, I'm going to help you understand or figure a way of moving from, is it my imagination? Am I feeling what I want to feel? Is it coming from me rather than them? And as a medium, I spent many years trying to figure out my ability, figuring out how the spirit world are communicating with me, learning to use all my different senses. But one thing started to realize is that I receive, this is crazy, but I receive a very weird shiver. And this very weird shiver tells me that I am very connected with the spirit. And it's always on my right hand side. I just get a weird shiver just like this. And that's when I know any thoughts, any visions, any feelings, any smells, whatever is in fact not coming from Dominic, but coming from the spirit. So, as perhaps you maybe journal, and that's another thing, journaling, but feel as you sit in silence. I like to sit in the dark. I'm weird like Scott. I like to sit in the dark. But if you get yourself in a place you feel safe and a place that you could feel maybe quiet, send that thought out. Send that thought out to the spirit world. Dad, I am here for you. Come closer to me. Allow me to feel you once again. And trust me, let's be honest. It's not going to happen overnight, is it? No, it won't, because we're going to need to ever so gently reprogram how we are starting to look at the relationship that we have with our friends and family in the spirit world. But I guarantee you, through time, you will maybe become aware of that gentle touch from the spirit. Like I said, my crazy, wacky little shiver, but it's in my face enough that I know 100 trillion, billion, million% that I'm connected with spirit. Maybe you need something like that. Maybe you need to take a moment to shift your awareness from I to them and ask them to come close and give you your physical sign that you know that they're very much with you. I remember years ago, I used to envision myself sitting in a beautiful, beautiful candlelit room with this beautiful armchair, and across from me was another armchair. And I know you can see where I'm going with this, going back to the kitchen table and having conversations. But I used to sit and I would say to my dad or my friend, come and sit with me, come and be with me. And that's when I started to feel the energy or the atmosphere around me start to change. And these are the subtle things. These are the subtle things that once we start to become aware of, we can then build on it. But again, why would your loved ones not come and be around you? Why would they not come and want to embrace you and let you feel them? Sometimes it's just about us moving out of our way and giving an opportunity for them to come close. In today's society, life moves very quick. We're all on telephones and TikToky things and listening to music and moving fast and commuting, and there's always something to do. And I ask you, do we really actually dedicate enough time for us to actually feel that gentle touch of our loved ones? I really don't think we do. And if I'm honest, I probably don't do it enough. I normally, when I go to work, take 5 minutes to set my prayer, set my intention, and say, okay, guys, who's here? Who's coming to communicate? Come closer. So I'm aware of spirit all the time, but I don't take enough time for me to connect with my people as well. So I want you to know, as a medium 20 years deep, I get it. And this today has actually been a little light bulb moment or aha moment for me to actually say, Dominic, remember to try to have a moment with your people as well. Because it's okay for me to help heal and bridge that gap between your people and yourself. But I also need to take a moment to remember to try and embrace and feel my people also. So, a good reminder for myself. Another thing I would encourage you to do, if you want to try, is start to write, journal. If you could ask your loved ones, or if you could have conversations with your loved ones, yes, okay, you may not be able to pick up the telephone and call them, but I want you to start writing the conversation down, all the things that you would want to say to them that day, that week, and do it before you go to bed. Promise me, and maybe take 10 minutes before you turn your light off at night to write a little conversation to your loved ones and ask them at the end of every conversation, please visit me in my dreams and see if we can continue this conversation. Gently giving them the permission to come close to you in your dreams as well. And trust me when I say this, your loved ones are able to be more connected to you in your dream than what we are or what they are in this busy, crazy life that we're living, that's working, moving, and connected with family and work and TikTok and travel and politics and money and whatever. So before you go to bed, maybe write something. I loved also, like Sandra shared with us, with the professor, he held his son's card, the business card. He held something that has an emotional and also a physical connection. Some of you may still have beautiful things belonging to your loved ones as well. And I encourage you to hold it, hold whatever it may be, and talk to it. And listen, if anyone says you're crazy for talking to a hat or a scarf or a ring or a piece of jewelry, then you tell them to come and see me and I'll show them what crazy is. But talk to them because your loved ones can hear you. They also can hear and receive your thoughts as well. So even if it feels like maybe you're talking to yourself or no one's listening, I promise you they are listening. Just give them an opportunity to hear you once again and set that tone. This week, can you share with me? Can you show me? Can you remind me of this? And also going back to the writing and the conversations, write some of the memories that you have shared together down and watch and see if maybe the memory becomes more deeper or you remember things from that day or that time that maybe they are then influencing you with their thoughts of that memory also. So, like I said, when I first written a letter to my father, it moved. It went in a different direction. It went in a completely different direction than I expected it to go to. I was moved. And I like to believe I was moved with his influence also. So write the memories, share the memories and the topics and the things that you did together, and see if other things come up. See if you remember other memories that are attached to that. And just trust that through their consciousness, through their physical thoughts, they're reaching yours as well. I know I may be boring you, and before I hand over to Darren, let me share one last thing with you. Many of you are always looking for signs from your loved ones. Is it the feather? Was it the 11, the 11? And sometimes you will find yourself doubting, is it coincidence or is it that feather? Because, like I said, the cat has maybe killed another bird in the garden. But also, why not try asking your loved ones as you sit maybe with a cup of coffee in the morning? Hey, Dad, this week, can you show me a clown? Can you make your sign be a clown this week? Or, hey, rather than the pennies, can you show me more dimes? Or can you show me more dollars? Or can you show me fireworks? Rather than looking for a needle in a haystack that maybe your loved ones are trying really hard to show you you're missing because, well, maybe you don't know what to look for, maybe gently give them a suggestion of, can you show me this? Or can you show me that? Or can you remind me of that song? I guess what I'm really trying to say is there's many ways that we can attempt to communicate with our loved ones. And I'm sure Sandra's probably got many different people she's interviewed with many different experiences. I know there's some people who have been able to communicate with their loved ones through EVP, electronic voice phenomena. I'm pretty sure Sandra has an episode on that. There is a library of different ways out there. But I encourage you, first and foremost, to find your crazy shiver. I know our good friend Scott calls it the tingle. So go out there, take time out for you to find when your environment or your energy shifts when your loved ones are a little bit more closer to you. But always remember the key is love. The cancer may have died, or the heart issue may have died, or the stroke condition may have died. But, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, your loved one did not die. They maybe just got a special invitation to a big VIP party that you're just not ready to go to yet. And one day you will. But for now, let's give them the permission or the invitation for them sometimes to come to our party here in our life as well. Okay, I'm going to pass over to my amigo Darren and let him share his words with you as well.
Thank you, Dominic. And a lot of what Dominic said resonated with what I've gone through in my experience. I've been involved in spiritualism for just over 19 years, so close to Dominic, but on the different perspective to Dominic. You know, Dominic's been in it as the medium, I suppose, whereas I've been on the outside of it, you know, been working with mediums, helping mediums. And I've been lucky and privileged, I believe, in my 19 years, what I've seen and what I've witnessed. And I've had the honour of being sitting in hundreds of seances, physical seances over the years, as circle leader for Scott. And over the years, I've witnessed incredible stuff. I've heard incredible stuff, you know, and there's nothing more heartwarming than seeing the love between someone in this world and the unseen world. Is absolutely phenomenal. And the amount of people that come to me, you know, after demonstrations, on courses, on workshops, or whatever it may be, and they say, "You're so lucky." And I say, "Why do you say that?" They say, "You must get so many messages, so many loved ones must communicate with you." And I say, "You couldn't be further from the truth." In fact, I never hear from loved ones, you know, in seances. You know, I've never had a loved one come through. You know, in demonstrations, I've never had loved ones come through. But you're right. You know, I do enjoy it. I absolutely love it for the reasons I've just said. I get to play that very small part and be instrumental in someone else getting that union with their loved one. And for me, that's what makes it more magic. So yeah, I don't get the personal communication, I don't get the personal evidence, but seeing and witnessing other people have that experience, wow, what an experience that is. And when you get someone that's a non-believer, wow, that's an even bigger, you know, phenomenal experience. When you see someone, and I know I'll go back to many years ago, I sat in a seance and this gentleman came in, you know, big beefy guy, all muscled, full of tattoos, the last person you'd expect to see involved in spiritualism whatsoever. And when you spoke to him, he was a day-to-day man, you know, there was nothing sort of philosophical about him. He was just there. He'd been dragged along for whatever reason. And when his wife came through, his wife had only recently passed. He had 3 little kids. You know, one of them was 6 months old. But to hear him speak with his wife and, you know, the tears of joy come from him and the transformation in him, you know, he was still the big muscly man after the seance, but when I spoke to him again after the seance, in my mind, he wasn't this big, muscly, beefy man with all the tattoos and that. He was such a soft, gentle soul. And it shows a transformation that can happen when someone has that communication, that validation with the ones they believe they've lost. And it's that realization hits, actually, we haven't lost that person. They're just in a different place to me. We can still have that communication, that love is still there, that bond is still there, it's never gone. So when people say to me, "You must be so lucky you get all this communication," like Dominic said, actually we don't get the communication, but we're lucky enough to play a part in someone else's communication. And to me, that's just such a wow moment, and it's such a joyous moment and a pleasure to be part of. And even though I don't hear from my loved ones directly, you know, in the seances and what have you, I have the validation that they're still there. I see what other people experience. I hear what other people experience with their loved ones. And I think, do you know what? This confirms my loved ones are there. My loved ones are around. I see it for other people, and that's how I experience it. And the thing is, sometimes we're in the depths of grief. It's very easy, isn't it? And we've all been there. We go run into different mediums, try and get that validation, try and get that communication, whatever it may be. I think in my whole life, I've only had 3 readings. In 19 years, I've been involved in spiritualism, because I've seen what's out there. And it's sad to say what's out there generally isn't great, from what I've experienced. And you see people running out there, handing over their money to people, because they want that validation. And I totally get it. But it's not always about running to a medium. Sometimes, sadly, there's people out there that do prey on the vulnerable and they take advantage of that. Um, and the one note of caution I'd say, when you're going through that moment of grief, or, we're coming up to that time of year, those loved ones, we feel that pain more because they're not there for the holiday season. The answer's not always go run into a medium and see who can give you a message. It's about the stuff that Dominic talked about. And if somebody said to me, how can I be close to my loved one? Do you know what? There is no concrete answer. There is no perfect answer to that question because we're all different. But do you know what's even more fun, I suppose? There's so many avenues and ways to try things, and I've been part of that, in home circles, we've tried and experimented all different things. There's sitting by yourself, and I do it. I sit in the dark. So I'm just as crazy as Dominic and Scott and everyone else because I sit in the dark. And I think it's because it takes away that distraction. You've got nothing to see, nothing to look at. So you can be as focused as you possibly can be with the unseen world. You can have that conversation. And from my experience, I don't work as a medium, but from my experience, you don't get the answer straight away. You don't necessarily have that dialogue straight away that you wish for. And I can only give my own personal experience. When I go to bed sometimes, perfect place, eyes closed, I'm in the dark. And I might have that conversation with the unseen world, whoever it may be. And it's not really a conversation because it's just me talking like I am now. I'm not getting an answer back. And I've been involved for 19 years, and I can send a thought or question to the spirit world, and I won't get an answer back straight away. And I've learned that you don't get an answer straight away. So I suppose that's one of the myths we have to dispel. You don't get answers straight away unless you're having a one-to-one reading with somebody. But even then, you may not get the answers you're looking for straight away because that loved one's come through to communicate with you. They want to say what they want to say. So sometimes throwing those questions in is not meant to be at that moment in time, and there's certain questions they may not answer at that moment in time. If you're in the midst of grief and you're throwing questions that may make your grief worse, they're not necessarily going to answer it because they know it's going to make you feel worse. So the one thing I've learned is never expect an answer straight away because you're not going to get it. And many people sit and they have that conversation like I do in the dark, and you don't get that response straight away. And they say, oh, it's not working. Do you know what? If you give it a chance, it does work. Things need time. If you think, and if I can compare it to when you grew up as a baby, when somebody, people talk to you when you're a baby, when you're 6 months old, people are talking away to you. You can't answer back, can you? Because you haven't learned how to talk. You haven't learned how to speak. So you can't give that instantaneous answer. Over the years, months, whatever it may be, you're constantly spoken to by people and you can't always answer. It can be several years down the line before you can begin to give answers and what have you. And that's the only way I can compare the spirit world to. They're learning. If my loved ones passed over today, they're not necessarily able to communicate straight away. If I'm asking questions, they're not going to talk to me straight away. But I do. When I go to bed, I close my eyes, I'm in the dark, and I'll talk to them. And that's the thing I've learned as well, is talk to them, have a conversation, tell them how your day was, tell them about your holiday, whatever it may be. And the one thing I've learned is never demand all the time, because you do get people, they demand quite a lot. We're all demanding people, let's be honest. I'm probably the one of the biggest demanders going. But if you think about it, if one of my friends came up to me and demanded all the time, I want this, I want that, tell me this, tell me that, I think, well, this isn't a friendship. You're demanding of me all the time. But when you build that conversation up, you go to sleep at night, have a chat with him in your head, tell him how your day went, tell him how your holiday was, tell him how your walk in the woods was, whatever it may be. And every now and again, probably drop in a question, the same as you would with friends. It's a two-way street. So if you're sitting there asking all these questions all the time, but not having a conversation, that's not how we naturally work as people. So I would say have that conversation, tell them about your life, your kids, your dogs, your whatever it may be, as you would if they was here on Earth. And then throw those questions in, which I tend to do quite a lot. And you don't always get the answer straight away. And for me, more sort of in the past recent years, when I've had problems or troubles, I'll send my thoughts and questions up. The answer could come days later, but it comes when you least expect it. I could have a customer walk into my shop, I could be having a conversation with them about something totally irrelevant, and the answer will come in their conversation. They will give the answer, and it'll be a complete random part of the conversation. And I sort of smile and I think that's the answer to the question I was asking. And for me, it happens more so often now than it did before. I'll send my thought or question up, I'll be having a random conversation with someone, and the answer to that question will come in that conversation. And I sort of walk off sort of chuffed and smile to myself and think that's the answer. Not saying everyone's going to get it in the same way, we all get it in different ways. But when you do sit and send your thoughts and have those conversations, not always, but you do get aware of that tingle that Dominic talked about, or that shiver, or that, wherever it may be, that sense that you can feel that person around you. And my thing is, and I say it in my prayers, and I say it in when I talk for Dems and all that kind of thing, always go with no expectations, always go in with no demands. Because the minute we start placing demands and having expectations, our mind comes into it, because we want this, we want that, we want to experience that. And I know it's really hard because, some of us out there have loved ones that we're dearly, dearly missing. But I find when we start placing a demand or an expectation, if that expectation isn't met necessarily how we think it should be met, there's that big level of doubt, that big level of letdown we feel. So my biggest thing is be as open as you can. Anything is possible. And we get messages and communications in many different ways. It could be a conversation with somebody, the answers come out. It could be a thought drops into your head days later. It could be anything. But if we've got that level of doubt, or we're setting that expectation, or we've got that demand, it doesn't always happen. Or it could be happening, but because we've got expectations there, we miss it, we don't see it. So I'm a believer, if you're very open to anything, allow it to be natural. And that's how mediumship should be. Mediumship should be as natural as getting up in the morning and going to bed at night. And I can't speak on behalf of Dominic, but I'm sure if I said to Dominic, how do you work with your mediumship? He probably says, allow it to be natural. If we start forcing things, it doesn't happen. But allow things to be natural, like a conversation. When you have a conversation with somebody, if you force the conversation, it doesn't, it's limited, there's no emotion involved. But when you allow a conversation with someone to be natural and unfold naturally, you can be talking for hours with somebody because it just happens naturally. That's how our connection with the unseen world should be. It should be so natural and not forced. And there's many different avenues to explore out there. There's the pendulum, there's a Ouija board, there's sitting in your own power, there's home circle. There's so many different things you can do, and so many ways to connect with our loved ones. But like I said, the biggest thing is don't expect an answer straight away. You'll get your answer in some way, shape, or form. And over the years, I've had, people say, well, what's your experience? I can talk about all the experiences and seances and what have you. And they've been phenomenal and I'm grateful for them. Like I said, I don't get any communication in the seances. But sometimes, every now and again, I may ask a question that Scott's not aware of. And it may come out in the seance. They may whisper an answer to me. Or sometimes for me, I just get a little hand on my leg and it will touch my leg and they whisper an answer to me. So I do get the answers in that, aside from that. And I think it may be because I've sat in that kind of the physical sounds kind of scenario quite a lot. When Scott goes away, I hate the house being quiet. I cannot stand silence in the house, and generally day to day. So the music's on, to TV's on. Some it's always on because I can't stand silence. And it's when I hear noises, it makes me jump and fidgety and stuff. So there's always something going on. But it's bizarre because sometimes when the house is silent, and I remember one day I was getting ready for work and I sat on the bed, tying my shoelaces up, and I was talking away. And I don't know if I was talking out how I am now or in my head. There was a woman just sat outside him on the bed. I don't know who she was, couldn't tell you anything about her. And I was talking to her. She wasn't answering back like I am now. I have a tendency to do that, just talk away and get no answers back. And I was talking away to her, and it suddenly dawned on me. I thought, it's not a person of this world, it's someone of the other world. And the minute I thought that, the person went, they disappeared. And I said to Scott, I phoned him that later on. I said, oh my God, you never guess what happened. And I was telling him my experience. And he said to me, it's because you started to question. That's why the conversation was natural. I was talking away as if there was. I didn't even twig at first. I was doing a routine task, tying my shoelaces. Believed this woman was there. I was having a conversation. And the minute I thought, oh my God, it's not somebody of this world, it vanished. And that proved to me, it's like I said, the minute we start to question, doubt, it changes things. But when it happens so naturally and, normal, people think we are not normal because of the things we do and the things we say. But do you know what? Between us lot, what is more normal than talking to our loved ones in the unseen world? Having a conversation at Christmas time around the table, and I do it with my family very often. My mum is not a believer at all. She's very stubborn, she's very set in her ways, and she doesn't believe in any of this. But we have the conversations around the dinner table at Christmas. Oh, do you remember Auntie and Uncle and Nan and Granddad, whatever it may be? And I can feel their presence. And I start to smile and what have you, but I can't say anything to my mum because she doesn't believe it. Um, but it's lovely to have that, and keeping people alive in memories like that, have conversations about them. Some of you may feel that, when you have a conversation about your loved one, you may feel that tingle, you may feel that shiver. It just shows they're there. It just shows they're present. And we can never forget that. And I'm one of the biggest skeptics going. I question everything. Even after 19 years, I will still question everything. Well, how is that possible? I have to eliminate the doubt. Even in a seance with Scott, and I tell him to this day, if something happens in a seance, I don't just take it, as that's what it is. I still question it. I still challenge it. Because I need to be happy in my mind that whatever's coming through from the spirit world is coming from the spirit world and not from this world. And I think over the years, I've kind of built that relationship and built that trust, like Dominic spoke about. You need to be sure it's coming from you and not from the unseen world. And when it comes from the last place you expect it, or at a moment when you're not expecting it, for me, that's the nugget. You're not thinking about it, you're not questioning. It just happens when you least expect it. And for me, that's the golden nugget. But like I said, from my experience, don't demand. You don't get an answer straight away. You get it when you least expect it. And that's the magic of it. You get it through the person you probably least expect it to get it from sometimes. Probably the person that's so disconnected with you or so disconnected with spiritualism, but they come up with the answer. And then you look at them and you think, wow, how did the spirit world do that? How did they get my answer through that person that doesn't really know me? We're just having a general day-to-day conversation. But, there's nothing wrong with being a skeptic, nothing wrong with being questioning. But sometimes we have to put things into perspective. There is a great power out there, a power that we will never see with our physical eyes until we pass. But believe me, that power's out there. Our loved ones are always there. If you question, if you're in need, you may not get it straight away, but somewhere down the line, you will get it. And hopefully it will validate, like Sandra's story and like Dominic spoke about. There is no question of a doubt, from what I have experienced over the years, from what Dominic's experienced, from what Sandra's experienced, and hopefully for what some of you guys have experienced. There is no question of a doubt. The spirit world is 100%. Our loved ones are there no matter what. Sometimes when we're in that deep moments of grief, it doesn't feel like it because our emotions, I think, are clouding, them trying to be with us. But, they're there with you 100%. Even now, as we're talking, I can feel the tingling and a thing down my back. And I'm sure each and every one of us, as we're here looking at this screen and listening, there's a loved one probably right beside you now, listening away, arms wrapped around you. And that's the one thing we can never lose doubt about. There's many non-believers out there that will question it, say you're weirdos, you're a nutcase, whatever you want to call it. The names I've been called is, but do you know what? They're just names. Doesn't mean anything. And do you know what? Sometimes I just smile and say, but I've seen more than you'll ever see, and I've heard more than you'll ever hear, which, that confirms my knowledge and my understanding that there truly is eternal love and eternal life out there. So never let anyone doubt you or question you. You have your doubts, your doubts. You have your own beliefs and your own knowledge and your own understanding. Hopefully, you've all had your own experience to validate that your loved ones truly are there, not just 100% of the time, 110% of the time. They're never far away. So never forget that and never let anyone change your view and opinion. Be a mad person like us, be a nutter like us, whatever it is they want to call us. But you know what? We're nutters and mad people that know the truth, that love and life are both eternal. So that's it for me. And I'm now going to hand you over to Sandra, our hostess with the mostest, who's just a bigger nutter as we all are.
The three amigos, crazy. Anyone joining us, just as crazy. Thank you, Darren, and thank you, Dominic. When I think of the Sunday gathering, so many people attend for the medium demonstration with that hope and prayer that their loved one comes through. But it's like the saying, you can give somebody a fish or you can teach them to fish. So that's what we wanted this Sunday gathering to be. We'll still have the demonstration of mediumship, but just to give you some tools that you're never alone. That being said, we're going to move on to our demonstration of mediumship. I know we have several first timers with us today. So, a little rundown about how this goes. Dominic is our medium today. He's got his own way of working with those in the spirit world. When he begins to work, he'll give a description of the person in spirit that has connected with him. We want everybody on the edge of your seat. Could this be your person? Could be a loved one, could be somebody you worked with, could be somebody a little distant. Sometimes those spirit world folks work in weird and wonderful ways. But if you can understand his whole description of the person, as somebody that no longer walks this earth, we want you to press the raise hand button. You might say, Sandra, where is that raise hand button? It's different places on different devices. If you're on a computer, you'll see it. It just says raise hand with a picture of hand. If you're on a iPad or a phone, you might see three little dots. If you click those, there it says raise hand. So if you want to play with that button for a moment or two, please do so. Sometimes there's two or more people that can take the information that the medium gives. If Dominic continues to work and you say, oh, I can't take that part, you'll notice that raise hand button turns into lower hand. So we have over 100 people with us today. So we ask you, take the information if you understand it. If you don't, leave it for the person that does. If you are the person that works with our medium today, I press a button on my side. It'll send your device a little signal and an unmute button will appear. You'll be off camera. Don't worry about that. But we do like to hear your voice when possible. And it's easy for you. All you need to do is say yes, no, or I don't know to the information that our mediums give. Promise me, whether it's today or forevermore in the future, when you have a medium reading, let the medium do the work. Your job is simple: yes, no, or I don't know. They should have the evidence and information that, well, they couldn't possibly know, just as Dominic was saying. Usually there's a message that comes through as well. I say that those who step forward from the spirit world on our Sundays, on our Sunday gatherings, they're just like Dominic, Darren, and myself. We try to create messages that will serve the greater good. So if you listen in, it may not be your loved one, but they may say just the thing you need to hear. So please pull those readings towards you. All right. And I always have that little prayer that the person who needs it the most gets that. So there's certainly mediums you can book, and Dominic you can take a reading with, and you can go to the live events with Scott and Darren and Dominic and Josephine coming up. But for on our Sunday gathering, just yes, no, I don't know, and pull that information towards you, even if it's not your loved one. See, simple as that. We always like to play a song before we go into our demonstration. I know there's been a lot said to you today, so we can just keep it simple. And as the song plays, if you just like to picture your loved one right there with you, or recall a past memory, whatever that may be, we want to leave you with how to fish, not just a fish today. So whatever tool, maybe there's something you picked up today that you want to try as the music plays. If not, you want to just enjoy the beautiful song by Brad Paisley and Dolly Parton, you can do that. So let me play the song and then we'll be right back with our demonstration with Dominic. That's a beautiful song, brought
Beautiful
tears to
songs.
my eyes. Oh, dear.
Incredible.
Dominic, over
Incredible.
to you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much for
thank you,
your
thank
words.
you. I love that. Love that song. Just as I'm starting to become aware of the spirit world, I am very much aware of a gentleman stepping forward that I do believe to be Dad. And I know as he's connecting here with me, if he didn't live in New York or upstate New York, then he has family that live there, because I keep being drawn to there in my mind here. And I know as he's connecting here with me, he keeps talking to me about his love for the family, being a grandpa, the girls I want to make reference to. But I know I know there must be something to do with maybe him making either like tree houses or turning like a shed or a barn into like a fun place for kids and whatever to play. But I feel he was very creative and liked to make sure that the kids had some places of fun and being. I don't know if it's go-karts, but I keep seeing this thing of the barn or the outhouse in some way. I
All
keep
right.
seeing a T for some reason as well, so I don't know if there's maybe like a Tim or something, but I keep getting this T name that keeps coming up as well.
Thank you. If you can understand that information, go ahead and press your raise hand button for us, please. We're very patient, very patient. No hands up just yet.
And I feel just as I go back to get a little bit more with him, I do keep getting the impression of um, I keep feeling like being cared for or looked after at home as well. So I know there would have been something to do with, trying to administer treatment or pain relief, etc. at home, because it makes me feel his family were all around him and doing their best to look after him as well.
Thank you. Who can understand this or understand most of it? Please press your raise hand button. Our loved ones know just who's with us today.
I feel he has. It's almost like more daughters. I don't get any mention of sons, but I feel I've got this thing of the girls for some reason.
Well, we have Jay here. Hi, Jay.
Oh,
Hey, I
hey.
I can take everything except the barn and him making like fun stuff. And I think, oh, and the tea. I don't understand the tea part.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I'm going to say thank you very much. But I'm going to stick with the evidence, if that's okay, Jay. I don't want I don't want you having a new family member. That's for sure. But
Okay.
thank you for being
Sure.
with us.
Keep listening, though. We have Margaret. Margaret, can you find that unmute button and press it for us? Margaret B., you have your hand raised. First time here. I know she's looking. Hi, Margaret.
Hi,
Hey, she done it.
I
Hi,
can't
Margaret.
do Hi, thank you. I can't do the tea thing other than but the barn, he always makes sure there was hay for especially the girls, the boys. Uh, uh, yeah, I can relate to that.
Okay, and you understand why I would get the impression as well of the family caring and supporting him as well before passing?
Yes,
Yeah, because I felt this feels
not
good. This
not
feels right.
all the family that lived near him. Yes.
That's okay. Yeah, perfect. And you understand the connection, New York, upstate New York.
Uh, close.
Close, that'll do me because I see in my mind this part of the state, so I do want to go with this. And would you accept if I says to you as well that he was a very, I know this sounds generic, but a very humble man? Would you understand why I would say that with him?
Um, yes, he
Like, I
was
don't feel he
not a
was
brag.
vain. I don't feel he was egotistical. I feel there's a saying that
No,
we say, what you see is what you get with him, is the impression that I
yes,
get with him, you see.
yeah.
And I do believe that he would be a grandfather. Is that correct?
Oh, yes.
Yes, because I know that when I connected with him, he talked about his grandbabies, the grandchildren, and I know that he loved to see them out in the yard or playing around, and like I said, like seeing go-karts and things. So I know he even, and even with his own family, but I feel he would create games or he would create things for us to do for the summer or when we're out playing. I feel very, very active, if I can say that to you.
Uh, yes. Do you want me to tell
Nope,
what
nope,
he
nope,
did
nope. I don't
for
want you to tell me
grandchildren?
anything. Thank
Okay,
you. But I
okay,
know it's important for you, Margaret, if I can say to
okay,
you, for you to hold and remember that the love that he felt from yourself and from the family is what carried him to the spirit world with peace. Okay. I know
okay,
that he keeps trying to reassure you that his passing to the spirit world was peaceful or was if we could say very easy for him, if I can say that, sweetie. Okay.
okay,
And he just keeps telling me to say that it wasn't goodbye. It wasn't goodbye. It was just for now. Just for now. Okay. And I know that as he's connecting here with me as we approach November, as we go through Thanksgiving, as we go into Christmas, these times are very hard at the moment. And I feel it's almost like everything's still feeling quite raw and fresh. Would that be true?
Uh, I just, yes,
Yeah, perfect. Because I know he keeps trying to reaffirm to you, please remember what we had. Don't look back and think, why did we not have more time or could we have done more? He is very at peace with the life that we had and the times that we had together. I don't know why I'm going to say this, but I keep wanting to say something like banana. And I don't know why there's something specific about a banana, but I need to say something about banana for you. So I just need to say that, which sounds ridiculous, I know. But I need you to remind yourself and the family that he had a good life. He had a good life
okay,
and that he felt so loved is certainly what I want to say to you. And not just with his family, but his colleagues and other peers or whatever. People had so much love and admiration for him.
okay,
And he keeps telling me to say that there will be a time where he will come back for you. He says, but for now, he says, I need you to keep smiling. I need you to keep singing. He says, and I need you to keep loving those babies. He says, because I know that they miss me also.
okay.
Okay, sweetie.
Okay.
Did you also, either just before he passed or just after he passed, did we lose a dog as well?
I lost a dog. He
Yeah.
didn't.
Okay, because he keeps telling me to say, you need to tell her that I've got the dog here. I've got her dog here. Okay.
Oh,
And so I
okay.
know it's important for you to know that come on, come on, like this. He's got your dog as well, sweetie. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
You're so welcome. But you still have the collar, don't you?
Uh, I have, yes.
Yeah, that's okay. Because all I will say to you, like we were saying earlier, holding on to these things and holding on to the pieces that have emotion or whatever, that's what brings them close and that's what keeps them close as well. So
Okay.
always remember that. Did he know George?
Uh, I don't know.
No, that's okay. I may be moving then, sweetie, but Margaret, sincerely, thank you so much for allowing me to share this moment. Please know that he's making every effort that he possibly can to still show you that he's with you. And maybe today is just that gentle touch for you as well.
Thank you so
You're
much.
so very welcome, sweetie. God
All
bless you.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm very much aware of another gentleman coming forward here just now, and I know that I keep hearing the name George as I connect with this man here, and I know that I want to talk about if he wasn't a doctor, then he was like a well, a physician or something, but I keep seeing like in my mind here this feeling of being a doctor with a lab coat or things like this. But I notice he's connecting here with me. He spent a lot of his time caring and supporting and trying to heal so many other people. And he forgot himself. And I almost feel his passing to the spirit world seems natural. I know that sounds crazy. So whether that's he passes peacefully through old age or something, but I know that I want to talk about him feeling like a wise soul is sort of what I want to say here. Um, I don't know if you took a trip to Scotland with him or if he took a trip to Scotland, but I'm being taken back home as well. So I need to talk about whether there was a trip or whether there's memories to having a trip or a vacation in Scotland.
Thank you very much, Dominic, who understands this information. You know what to do. Press that raise hand button for us.
Feel I'm wrong with the career. I feel I'm wrong with that lab coat, but I can't change what I'm seeing. I'll even stretch it to maybe being a dentist, but I very much need to say like either a doctor or a dentist. He's definitely involved in medical in some way.
Who understands this information? Or I think you do. Press your raise hand button.
Crickets. And I just got to push the envelope just a little bit more. I feel again father, so again I feel either father or father-in-law. But that's the feeling that I get with him as well here. Just going to pop in. I keep hearing like K, so I feel there's maybe a Karen that may be able to connect with us or something as well.
Thank you. Who can understand this or most of the information? Please press your raise hand button. Oh, Dominic, no one's raising their hand.
Oh, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry.
Carol has her hand raised. Thank you, Carol, so much. Carol, if you can find that unmute button and press it. Hi, Carol.
Hello. I'm
Hi,
really
Carol.
stretching it, and it's only because nobody else raised their hand.
That's a hey, listen, at least I'm not lying hanging, so thank you. What do you
So
understand, sweetie?
I understand George in spirit,
Yep.
and I don't know about the trip to Scotland, but I'm a doctor.
Okay. Okay. And would you understand dad?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not. He's a dad, but not any relation to me.
Oh, okay, okay. Um, I'm not sure about this. Give me one second. Do you understand as well with George then if why I would get the impression of his passing being peaceful or passing being quick?
It wasn't quick, it was natural.
Okay, natural, yeah, because that's what I felt. There was a feeling of like his passing being natural. But as he connected with me, sweetie, I felt very much a great sense of being close to my recipient, being close. So I felt a great sense of the love and the friendship, the bond between you both.
Yeah, no, it's probably not me. Or this was a husband of a friend.
Okay, okay. You still know the friend? You're still connected to the friend?
Yes.
Okay. Give me one second because it still feels quite right. If it's okay with you, let me just deliver the message. And if you feel it feels right, then you can pass it on. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Now, remember how I talked about the trip to Scotland?
Yes.
Could you find out if your friend and the husband, if they had ever been to Scotland or if they were planning the trip to Scotland? Because I got that quite clear. And I feel that that might be something that will secure that for you. But I know that there's a great sense of his wife or his your friend finding peace by letting him also go. Okay. So I know a great sense of perhaps going with grace, going with dignity, and pride was very important for him and for her to see. Okay. But I know there's a
Okay.
great sense of him wanting to reaffirm to her that he knows that she misses him, but he is so glad that she moved on through life and refound love in life again, if I can say that to you.
That makes sense.
Perfect. So if you see fit to, I know it's a little bit discombobulated, but I would like to just deliver it if you see fit to, just so that I can move on with it as well, darling.
Okay, yeah,
Perfect. Carol, thank you so much.
thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Um, let's go with this now. What is going on? So I'm very much aware of a lady that's stepping forward here just now, but she's came in with a younger boy, and the moment that I'm connecting with them both, it almost feels like grandma and grandson, is the easiest way that I could describe this here at the moment. I do feel very much as I connect, there would have been either a cancer or a leukemia. I'm not sure if that goes back to the boy, but I know I want to talk about the cancer and the journey with the cancer. I do feel also as I connect with her, I know we just had Carol, but I feel I want to say something like Kathy, Catherine or Kathy, as I connect here. I also feel there's a J, so I feel like either Joseph or something Joey, but I keep getting this being mentioned as it comes forward as well here. But they came in together, hence why I feel it's perhaps grandma and grandson as I connect with this.
Thank you very much. Who understands this information or thinks you might? Go ahead and raise your hand for us.
I feel the young boy may have still been in school or kindergarten or something, but I know that there's something to do with like school books or we call them jotters. I think you may call them notebooks, but I feel there's something to do with that that may still be here belonging to him.
Kate has her hand raised. Kate, if you can find that
Oh,
unmute
Kate.
button. Hi, Kate.
Hi,
Hi.
Hi, Kate.
hi. I can take everything. My son, which passed, is now about 46. Isn't a child, you know.
You understand him being with your mum.
Yes,
Okay.
my mother, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, you understand where there's the feeling with the cancer with either of them?
Yes, it was a part like leukemia, but it
Okay,
wasn't. There was
that's
quite a
okay.
lot that went,
Yep,
yeah.
perfect.
And they
And you,
called him John.
John, okay, sweetie. And
Yeah.
you still have this thing about the books or notepads or something?
Sorry.
You still have jotters or notepads, like notebooks or something belonging to your son?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was incredibly close to John. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Because I know as I connect with them both, number one, it's very important for you to know that your mum has received him, that they are together.
Yeah.
Number two, it's important to know that your son has been able to heal. And again, I said earlier, it's only illness or condition that passes away. And I feel it's important for you to know that his condition and his situation has passed away. Very handsome man, very handsome as he's coming forward. And I know that I need to talk about whether this be a saying or not, but I feel like a twinkle. He's got a beautiful twinkle in his eye, if I can say this to you, sweetie. Was he very good with words? Did he ever write you poems or beautiful lyrical words or anything?
Yes.
Yeah,
It was very, very clever.
perfect. Because that's
Yeah.
okay, because I know that he talks about
Yeah.
the words or things that he had written for you, instead of what I want to say here. And tell me, would you understand where I would get the impression of maybe him either doing some further training or teaching or education as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
He wants to be help people. Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel very much just as I reflect back with him, he dedicated a portion of his life of trying to share knowledge and support and be the voice for the underdog and really help nourish
Mm.
people is what I need to say here, if I can say this, sweetie. Now, is there anything as well, if I was to talk about a garden of remembrance, would there be anything in a garden belonging with your son and your mum, like a tree or a rose or anything?
Yes. He is buried just below here, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
next to the tree. And I live in Scotland,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay. Perfect. Because again, I just know that I want to talk about the garden. It feels like a garden of remembrance,
Yes,
and he's
yes,
acknowledging with the tree. Is certainly what I need to say
yes.
here. And you would understand also connecting with your mum, Margaret, in the spirit world also.
Margaret is my mum.
Oh, is it okay? Because I just feel I
Mm,
need to acknowledge with
mm.
your mum. I thought it was someone else, but that's okay. Being with Margaret is sort of what I need to say here. I know that your son's message to you at the moment is as he finished holding your hand here physically, he then took the hand of your mum. Okay, so again, I feel that he wants to acknowledge a beautiful transition from, you know, leaving this part of his physical life with you and then beginning to continue with your mum in the spirit world. So please know that he is still very much surrounded with a lot of love, not just by you, but also with your grandma as well, well, his grandma, your mum, if I can say this to you. Um, just very quickly, I don't know why I'm going to say this to you, but did him and your mum or you, did anyone used to sit and sometimes play dominoes?
Yes, I used to play. Yes, definitely. Yes.
Because I'm sitting at a kitchen table just now and I'm seeing an image of them playing with dominoes around a kitchen table or around a table,
Mm.
if I can say this to you. Um, So please know that the thoughts that you had been sending to your son, the love that you still send very much to him, he's validating that this evening for you, but also how beautiful to know that he's with your mum and they are very much looking out for you as well, if I can say that to you.
Thank you
You're
so much.
very much,
Thank
thank you so much for joining us and thank you for allowing me to share that moment with you. Okay, so I've got another gentleman here. We've got a few here tonight, all the men, but I've got another gentleman stepping forward here just now. And as I'm connecting here with him, this is a little bit strange because I don't know what this is. This man either had worked in a bank or he worked with finances because I keep seeing him dressed and going into this building and I can hear what I would call a clerk. I know that he's working with money. He's seeing the ins and outs. He's counting up the money. He's tallying up the accounts, the figures. Is sort of what I want to say here. I do want to acknowledge a B. So there's either a bill or Billy, that is significantly connecting with because I keep getting the name Bill being mentioned here. I do feel there's something not right with the heart, and I feel that either there was an issue or complications with a valve. And I don't know if he already had surgery or he was supposed to get surgery, but I feel there's something to do with a stent or a pacemaker because of the valve not working properly is certainly what I need to acknowledge here with this. But what he kept showing me here was looking like a name badge. I don't know if he had like a name badge for his work or something, but I feel there's something to do with a badge or something with the name on it.
Thank you very much. Who understands this gentleman? Raise your hand. We have Julie with her hand
Julie, I
raised.
was going to say Jennifer there, but Julie, okay, we'll go with that.
Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Hey, sweetie, if you could just tell me what you understand.
My dad was a stockbroker
Yes.
and he dealt with finances. Bill
Yep.
was my ex-boyfriend that worked at Merrill Lynch with him,
Oh,
that I lived with for a while, and that was kind of a dramatic thing.
that's okay. That's okay. Do you understand where the heart comes in? The issue with the
Yes, he
chest,
had
the
a
heart.
pacemaker put in at one point, and they told him later that he probably didn't even need it.
Oh, crumbs. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Would you accept if I says to you, sweetie, that as much as your dad was very clever and figured and he knew his things, I actually feel a little bit goofy as well. So I feel like downtime, family time, holidays, vacations, like I feel a man that, really could come together and have fun.
Well, he was the type, my parents got divorced after a while, but my mom was the mean drunk. He was, when he did get buzzed, he didn't drink a lot,
No.
but he was a happy drunk.
Okay,
So
because I feel like I just want to be goofy, like if he was just goofing around, like, hey, what the hell? Like, no problem. What? Just trying to
yeah, he
really
was never in
live.
a bad mood. I don't think I ever saw him, even when his car engine started on fire, he didn't get in a bad mood.
Awesome, awesome. I do believe as he's connecting here with me, he is talking to me about coming close to you and really trying to help you grow
Yes.
spiritually yourself. So whether that's you feeling or developing, taking classes or reading, but taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And he's telling me to say, take your time, be patient, trust yourself. Trust yourself. And what he's telling me to say is where you're at in life at the moment is a-okay. A-okay. So I feel he's acknowledging a lot of work and a lot of healing and a big change that you have went through is certainly what I want to say here. But you know how I kept talking about like this name badge or this thing? Do you have something still with your dad's name, like a badge or something?
I have his business cards, and then he was doing watercolor, and I have, things with his name on it
Okay.
for
Because I
like,
feel like I want to acknowledge your dad's name being of importance, the name being importance, name being importance, because he keeps bringing this up. I keep hearing the name Frank as well, so I know that there's a connection to the name Frank, being connected with your dad also here. I don't understand that, buddy. What is that you're doing? Um, is it? Have you been experimenting with food just now? You've been like trying to learn how to cut different things, cook different things, or anything. You're not a chef.
I have acid reflux problems, and so I've been trying to watch what I eat now because
Mm,
it disrupts my sleep. I have to sleep
that's
at an
okay. Yeah,
angle. I had
yeah.
an endoscopy recently.
Okay. Because, that's not what I was picking up. I don't
Oh,
know why I keep seeing like someone cutting onions and like being a chef, like cooking.
oh, I cook all the
Um,
time. Yeah.
Okay. So again, I know that in a sense, and I'm going to talk about this later, but when maybe you're cooking and in the kitchen and having you time, maybe talk to your dad, maybe send those thoughts out and maybe feel him coming a little bit closer, like we were talking about also, is sort of what I want to say here. I know that as he's connecting here with me, he loved his job. As much as it was difficult, as much as it was stressful or whatever, he loved his job. And I know that he keeps telling me to say, it gets easier when it's something that you love. It's easier when it's something that you have passion about. And I feel that that's maybe something that you're looking at as well of where am I going or what do I do next moving forward as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
know that Dad's still watching, still coming around to see how you're doing. And again, I just want you to know that as much as sometimes things could have been a little bit crazy, he just keeps telling me to remind you how much he loved and how much he adored not just you, but your mum as well. Okay, because that's one thing that he keeps acknowledging is that love that we had. So, Julie, thank you so much for allowing me to
Thank
spend that
you.
moment with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I
You're
really
so
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sweetie. We got time for one more, Sandra?
Yes, we certainly
Perfect.
do.
Let me see what I've got here. So I'm very much aware of another lady stepping forward. I feel as if this would be a sister, okay? But I know as I'm connecting with her, I feel there's something not right with the head. So I feel there's either a stroke or an aneurysm, but she makes me feel there's something to do with her head not being right. I do feel her passing is sudden or her passing is quick because I feel that there was a shock of her passing. I know that who I want to be connecting with feels they didn't get to be with her, and I feel that there's either a distance or we lived separately or something, but there's some feeling of not being able to get to be with her before she passes, is what I need to say here. I don't know if there's a Elizabeth or an Elaine or something, but I feel like an ELI name that keeps popping up, and a D as well, like Diane or Diana. I'll go with something like that also.
My friend Andrea has her hand raised. Andrea, if you press your unmute button.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Hey, sweetie.
Hi, thank you.
If you just tell me what you understand, sweetie.
A sister,
Yep.
stroke in the head,
Yep.
a daughter named Elizabeth. I
Perfect.
wasn't there with her passing. I live a distance away.
Okay, sweetie. So you weren't able to be with her, correct?
I could not, no.
Perfect. And can I say to you, and I mean this politely, but your sister was a nightmare. Okay. And I
Yes.
mean this politely, but she's telling me to say that when she got to the spirit world and she started to review some of her things, she's like, oh God, I was a bit of a nightmare, wasn't I? But she laughs about it as if, oh well, can't change it anyway, you know? But I know that as a sister, she keeps telling me to say that she hopes that you knew she loved you, but she didn't always show it, or she wasn't always appreciative at times in some capacity. Do you understand that?
I do.
Yeah, because she's telling me to say, she's only going to say it once and once only. She says, I know sometimes I wasn't easy, she says, but I need you to know that I was very proud to be your sister. Very proud to be your sister. Okay. She does make me feel in some way as well that life wasn't always a walk in the park for her, if I could say that to you. And I feel maybe where love's concerned or a separation or something, but she makes me feel that sometimes she didn't always take her anger out on the right people.
That's true.
Okay. But one thing she is telling me to say is, you always showed her compassion and you always showed her so much love. And she keeps making me feel that you gave her a lot more second chances than maybe what she deserved sometimes. And she keeps telling me to say that she's grateful for this. Grateful. Now, going back ever so gently, is there anything to do with you being blamed for having the cigarettes that were maybe hers, or you blaming her for the cigarettes? I feel there's something funny about someone being caught with cigarettes in the house, but blaming someone else.
Hmm. We all smoked, but I cannot remember that. But
Okay.
blame, I do remember blame.
Because I just feel in some way, for example, it's like your mum finds the cigarettes and your sister's like, no, they're hers, they're not mine. And you're like, no, they're not. They're yours. Like, she just keeps laughing. I feel there's a saying like throwing you under the bus in a sense, but she's acknowledging, the good times, and at least we can laugh. At least we can have humor, is what she's telling me to say. She also wants to acknowledge, that sounds weird, but I want to say it to you. She's telling me to say that she's been sending you lots of kisses. Now, this sounds bizarre, what I'm about to say, but have you started to feel like your face been getting itchy or tingly or anything a lot just now? That sounds so bizarre.
Um,
Let me just tell you what she said. I just feel as if she's trying to kiss you all the time on the face, and it's like feeling like an itch or like what's going on? Is it a hair or something? But she's telling me to let you know that it's her just trying to give you kisses and show you that she's around. Is the easiest way that I could describe to you, sweetie. Okay.
okay.
I think
Yeah.
I'm wrong with this, but let me just say, do we have any connections, or did she have any connections to Chicago?
No.
No, okay, I thought that, but I want to just express it in case I was wrong anyway. Keep seeing Chicago in my mind here. I do feel it's very important to know that as she did pass to the spirit world, she was able to take much better care of herself, if I can say that to you also. Okay, because I know when she was here, she did not listen. She did not care for herself very well. I don't know, but and she just keeps telling me to say,
Yeah.
a lot of things caught up on me at the end, didn't it? A lot of things. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to be careful with the words I'm using because she's using very
Don't be.
colourful language. But I
It's
almost feel
okay.
she'd be like, what the heck? What the heck? I came here to live and I lived my life, and boy, was it fun. But I know that there's elements of you still are trying to do your best to keep a gentle contact with your nieces, your nephews, the family. And she just keeps telling me to say, you don't need to do much. She says, just do what feels right to you. She says, but thank you for being my sister.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And yes, she's around a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome, Darren. Can I say, do you have a cup or a mug or anything that may have I don't know, a colourful word on it?
Not anymore, no.
Okay, well, just trust me when I say she keeps making me feel I feel like I want to say a four-lettered word or something on a coffee mug or something, and she's
She did.
holding it up. Oh, okay.
She
Perfect.
did,
Because
yes.
she's almost toasting it back to you as if, here it is.
Oh, wow.
Perfect. Darren, thank you so much for allowing me to spend that moment with you. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will hand it over to our hostess with the mostess.
Thank you so much, Dominic. That was just wonderful. We feel the love, and we're still ourselves when we migrate to the other world. We have those personalities, and apparently that mug. Just some announcements. If you want to find out more about Dominic, book of reading, find out about his book, which is called The Voice of Spirit, The Boy Next Door with the Incredible Gift, you can go to dominicbogue.com. Also, if you want to join Dominic and Darren and Scott, our friend Josephine, and others at some beautiful retreats, go to togetherwithspirit.com. There's still space available. The first week in November, they'll be in Barlow in the Netherlands, and then Plymouth, Massachusetts in 2026, and in Scotland. And there'll be more events, I'm sure, but keep an eye because there's some really good things. And boy, it is nothing like being together with each other and being together with spirit. Next week, for our friends in the UK and Europe, clocks are changing. We need you to join the Sunday gathering 1 hour earlier. All right. Everybody else stays the same, but just pay attention to that. It's always wacky when the whole world doesn't do what I want, which is all turning the clocks at the same exact weekend. So if you are in the UK or in Europe, dial in 1 hour early. You'll get the Zoom reminder, of course, 1 hour early as well. Coming up this week, you can sit in the power with our friend Scott Milligan. Join Scott and myself for In the Arms of Eternity. It's an opportunity to send healing and also a trance medium demonstration. They're always quite special. Our new classes are soon to be announced for November, but you can certainly join a current class in session as you get the video replays. You can find everything at wedon'tdie.com. Click on the store page for things coming up. You can go to the Sunday Gathering page. You can register for many upcoming Sunday gatherings. You got the three amigos are back with you next Sunday as well. Darren, Dominic, and myself. Also, a shout out to those of you who have made our Sunday gathering possible by sending a dollar or a pound or two. We appreciate it. It pays for all the very expensive things behind the scenes. So if you ever wish to donate, you'll find that on the Sunday gathering page as well. Also at wedon'tdie.com, there's more than 780 episodes between my two podcasts of great reasons to believe in the afterlife. And all I want to leave with you before I hand it over to Darren and then Dominic is, even though I have 200 or 780 episodes of the afterlife and I have a book and I participate in every single Sunday gathering and so many medium demonstrations, and I've witnessed miracles, one would think that 24/7 I would believe in the reality of the afterlife. I do not. I don't think we're meant to. The doubt always creeps in. It's part of being human. So if you have a skeptical mind, you are really normal. It's important to do your homework because unfortunately there are some con artists out there. But I say keep yourself plugged in. Come to demonstrations, come to our Sunday gatherings, listen to a podcast, read a book, keep your foot in the door of something, keep asking for those signs, start the journal, start those communications with your loved ones, and that's when miracles can appear. But the good news and the bad news is, that little voice of doubt will always be there, even for somebody like me. But there's a much bigger picture. So that's it for my words of the week. I'll send it over to Darren.
Thank you for that, Sandra, and thank you to all you guys for listening to us and watching us and interacting. It's been amazing. I just wanted to kind of reiterate something Mr. Eric would say. He always says we're only dead if we're forgotten. So reminisce about those stories, with friends over the table at Christmas or whatever it may be, and those that's gone before us. Reminisce about the silly times and the stupid times and the fun and the laughter, because that's what it's all about, bringing their memories to life and keeping them alive. And I know on this gathering we spoke about how we can connect with our loved ones in the unseen world and what sort of things we can do. But for me, I think it's just as important to help others to achieve that communication from their loved ones, which each and every one of us has played that part here today, with people getting a communication through Dominic from their loved ones. And that can be just as satisfying for all, and yourselves. If we can get that communication to that loved one, whether it's yourself or someone else, that's a joy and a privilege to be part of. So don't forget that, and I'll pass you on to Dominic.
Perfect, Darren. Thank you very much. You know, today's theme was the gentle touch of spirit, and there's something very apt in the gentle word. Spirit do come very close to us, ever so gentle. But one of the things I would like to leave you with is many people say, how can I be closer to them? Or how can I bring my loved ones closer? Ask yourself this, is there any distance between you? Because your loved ones never truly leave your side. They're just in a different way of living. So always remember that love never dies. That's unconditional. And one last thing I would like to leave you with: birthdays, Christmas, anniversaries, Valentine's, all those times that maybe we miss people that we love. Why not write a Christmas card or a birthday card or an anniversary card and leave it out on your table? Write a card and maybe take it to the cemetery if your loved ones are at the cemetery, or take a card and leave it in one of their favorite places. Why, just because they don't have the physical body, should we forget about them? Why should we stop celebrating their birthdays or their milestones as well? So remember, they see your thoughts as you write, and I believe it encourages them to come closer as well. But regardless to that, just remember, love is the key, and that's what keeps the spirit alive. So, as we finish up, let's join together once again as we close today in prayer. Divine Spirit, Father God, we graciously thank you for allowing us to feel the gentle touch of Spirit once again. We thank you for allowing our loved ones to come close ever so gently and allowing us to feel their love, giving us the proof and the knowing that love truly is eternal and that there is no death. And we ask that as you guide us and keep moving us forward, that you allow us to move into the place of knowing that our loved ones walk side by side, hand in hand, and heartbeat by heartbeat with each other. All this we say in your name, which is unconditional love. Amen.
Thank you so much, Dominic. And thank you, Darren. Can't wait till next Sunday, Three Amigos. Remember, you guys sign in an hour early. All right, our final song is from Lion King. I won't say anything else. You just love it. I know you already do. Everybody, we'll see you next week. Love you all. Bye. Thanks, amigos.